Thank you. Okay.
Does that record also?
Yes,
Okay.
it's recording.
Great.
Where were you?
I've been living here in New Hyde Park for 90 years. I was born on Second Avenue and South 11th Street. The house is still there, right across from the post office. You know, the corner house. And then from there, I moved over on this side, and you know where Nancy's is now?
Yes.
That's where we were living, behind there. And across the street from me was Milton Bears. You remember Milton Bear?
No, I
We
remember.
were there.
What did your parents do? What kind of work? Your mom and dad, what kind
did
of
your
work?
mother and father do for a living?
Oh, Pop was a plaster, built houses. And Mom was a homeowner. She had 9 kids.
What school did you attend?
Well, I went to the Fall Park,
St. Hedwig's.
St. Hedwig's, and then from there I transferred to New Hyde Park Road School. And when I was in the 5th grade, I came back over here.
And then you went to Sewanaka.
And then I went to Sewanaka the freshman year, and then that's when the war broke out. And I spent 5 years into the Army. I went to Europe, I landed in Omaha Beach.
Were you drafted?
No, I volunteered. 12, 14, 28, 27, that's my number. But I went there.
God, you remember that? All these.
I tell
What were
you
you
what,
in a concentration camp? It's on your arm or something? God.
What other stores were in New Hyde Park?
What stores were in New Hyde Park?
okay, now I'll explain something. On South 11th Street, there was 3 stores. They're not here anymore, they're ripped down. I can remember my mother going there to get some stuff to cook and things like that. But they're not there anymore. But on Jericho Turnpike, used to be an AMP years ago, Roaston,
Ralston's.
and there was another one. And that was,
And Bischoff's.
and that was it. Those 3 stores. Oh, the one was, what was a big store? They used to put the vegetables outside, and when we used to go past there, they used to have Japanese apples.
What side of the street was it on?
You had seeds, you had to open them up, you just eat the seeds.
Yeah, but what side of the street was it on? The north?
On the side, that would be on the south side.
South side of the street.
And on the north side, before used to be like an AMP. That was on the
I know
north
the
side.
AMP.
What historical events have you participated in?
Well, he was in World War
Right.
II.
But yes.
Yes.
But anything in New Hyde Park?
Well, he's been in the fire departments for years and
For
years.
60-some years I've been with the fire
67.
department.
Wow.
And
Were your parents born and raised in New Hyde Park?
what?
No, your parents weren't raised in New Hyde
No,
Park. They
no,
were raised
no,
over
they
in
came from
Germany.
Europe.
Oh, okay.
His father was,
Mother came from Europe.
yes, they came from Europe.
I would say right now, you're probably the oldest living firefighter in the department.
Yes.
Yes, right now he
Yes,
is.
I am the
He
longest
is.
guy in
He's
the fire.
the oldest one in the
When
fire
I came
department.
here, God, it was Miller's Lane was a big Aaron's Fox, a great big silver ball, and then they had a ladder truck, and then they brought in the rescue. They got Start Rescue.
That was right behind the church on the corner of Miller's Lane.
Right.
Judge Chris.
Go down
Judge
Miller's Lane, there's a white
Chris.
building, a church.
Yes.
That's the old firehouse.
What is your favorite memory of New Hyde Park?
What is your favorite memory of New Hyde Park?
What's the memory?
What is your favorite
Your
memory?
favorite memory?
My favorite memory. Oh God. I just love the Hyde Park. I would never leave it.
He would never move from New Hyde Park.
I used to enjoy myself going by her mother's, had a great big farm north side, and we used to go up there when I was a kid with another guy, Wally. We used to go up and walk there, and then we'd go across the other farms and take up the potatoes in the winter and go ice skating. That would be my favorite. Ice skating and the Ritter's Pond. We used to walk from here, go across the farms, and there was potatoes left or something there. We used to take the potatoes and throw them in the fire. And the blacker they got, the better they taste. We used to call them bickies. We used to eat them.
How did you meet your wife?
She was sitting in a chair in sixth grade, or fifth grade, and I was a hall squad. And she go,
That's true.
and that's how I first met her.
Wait, I used to go to Holy Ghost at that time.
Right.
It wasn't
That's how
Holy
I
Spirit,
first
it was
met her.
Holy Ghost. And then my mother transferred me over to the road school, New Hyde Park Road School, and I was in fifth grade. I think it was fifth grade. And he was a whole squad monitor, because he was like in eighth grade by that time. And, you know, that's how I get to know him. And gradually, then he went into the service eventually, and I never saw him again. And Mr.
Julius Altman
passed away. He used to have the,
Altman and Ross?
yes,
The-
Altman and Ross.
Well,
Well, it was
Christine
just
grew
Altman's
up
at that
in this
time,
area
you know.
also.
And
Christine grew up in this area.
he passed away, and we went to the wake at that time.
And I was there
because
washing the car.
They walked down the streets
And
with
they come
body
Right.
at that time,
Big
and
mistake.
I met him, and he was home from the service, and that's how it started.
And
Did-
how long are we married now?
It'll be 65 years.
Wow.
God have
It'll be
mercy on us.
65 years. that we're
Wait a
married.
minute, you're not dead yet.
No.
And did you work?
What?
What did you do?
I used to work at, well, I was a beautician, but when I first started, I was down in Goodwin's. I used to go into Jamaica. I'd take the bus and go into Jamaica and work at Goodwin's in Jamaica.
And what did Mr. Novak do for a
I
living?
worked for Doubleday.
He worked for Doubleday for
God
38 or 40 years. He was one of the office mechanics, and he was in charge of all the machines.
And how many children do you have?
We have one.
One little angel.
Cheryl is her name.
She's in fact, she just had a birthday yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, happy birthday.
And that means
Cheryl
she's
just
at
turned
home.
60.
She's in what my daughter says.
She's in Maine
she
right
travels
now.
the whole world clothes. She's a
Yeah, she's
manufacturer
traveled the whole world.
on clothes.
She's gone to India. She's been
Germany.
in China.
India, Japan.
Well, she's a buyer,
And
actually.
yeah,
isn't
she's,
she?
well, she lived in India for quite a while.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
And
So,
now she's in Massachusetts with a girlfriend.
she's in Maine right now.
What
on
was your
vacation.
favorite memory of New Hyde Park?
My favorite memory, I guess it was meeting
Meeting your husband.
my
Riding
husband
the
and getting
horse.
married.
She used to ride the horse on
No,
the farm.
I used to ride. I went to Sewanaka too. I graduated from Sewanaka.
Where was your farm exactly?
It was on Hillside Avenue
and New Hyde Park
and
and Lakeville Road.
No, Hillside Avenue and Lakeville Road. It was the whole
To the city
area.
line.
That was before Lakeville Estates was, you know, here. And I would ride a horse. That was when Hillside Avenue was just a dirt road.
It was a
Hillside
dirt road.
Avenue would come just to the city line, and it was a dirt road from city line to down the rest of the way, you know. And it was very high at that time, and I used to ride a horse up and down the
I just told you.
avenue. And that's.
Did you take your horse to school?
I did. I used to ride in. They used to have parades years ago
Right.
for at Sewanaka, and I would take the horse and I would ride the horse to school. And but that was only for parades. I would walk from you know, to
School.
Sewanaka from all the way back there, because we had to really walk. We didn't, you know, they didn't have buses at that time for us, you know, and it was quite a distance. So, I don't know what else to tell.
How are you adjusting to all the changes now in New Hyde Park?
How many changes?
How are you adjusting to the changes?
I haven't been out for 2 years, so.
Oh.
No, well,
It doesn't bother me.
He had a stroke and he hasn't been out really much for the last
See.
7 years, but he does go to the fire department and, you know,
I
he's
go to a meeting,
in all
but I'm
the
gonna
meetings.
tell you something. You're asking me questions. Do you remember, we used to have a roller coaster here for cars?
Yeah,
You used to
No.
have to pay $1, and right where,
Barton's.
Barnes used to be, you used to go up and down ride all
Where
the way
was
to.
Barton's?
What?
Where was Barton's exactly?
Barton's is now, what do they call that, Carol?
The Dublin pub.
Oh, by the Dublin
The
Pub?
Dublin Pub, that used to
The
be
Dublin
Barton
pub,
Stadium.
the storage post.
Yeah.
I guess King Collins is part of that
So
too.
Yeah.
there used to be, that's what used to be the stadium.
That's
Barton
right,
Stadium.
Barton
We used to
Stadium.
go and sit on there was a great big sign, but myself and 2 or 3 others, we made our grandstand, we put seats, and we used to watch. They had the black baseball team would come on, they used to call them the Blackbirds. They used to be nighttime, and then the Jewish team, you had big beards, they used to play, they used to get some nice teams. It was great to see the baseball.
I want to ask you a little bit about the war. You volunteered and what,
Yeah.
which,
I
Division.
volunteered because I was mad when they bombed Pearl Harbor. I was in school, and the gang was in school, just decided we're going, and we went.
were you in Army, Navy?
How many years I was?
No, were you in the Army?
I was in the Army, yeah.
What division were you in?
I was in the 35th Infantry Division, and they came from Nebraska. And we landed in Omaha Beach. They say they landed today, but we landed 2 days later and we came in. And it was still hot. They called it the Red Beach because so many of us were killed before we landed. The water was all red. And they called it the Red Beach. And then when Patton came in, he was the one with the tanks. We got to his division, and then we went with him all through the war. And then I got stuck in Christmas time, and the Boston breakthrough. They came through with everything they had, and they slaughtered us, but we got out of it. And then after that, the Germans gave up.
How many years were you in the Army?
5. I enjoyed it. I should have stayed in. But when I came home, I got off at the station in Fall Park because the trains were not going anywhere. But the one they were going to was Fall Park, and they were going to stop and go back. I walked with my bag, with my stuff, and I got to Fall Park, and I looked like I was in a different world. And I came walk through Jericho Turnpike in New Hyde Park, and I didn't know anybody. I never knew the people that were there. They were looking at me like if I was trying to do something wrong. And then my sister Lily come out. She said, "Oh my gosh, that's Richie." I was lost, and I wasn't here. But spent most of my time in the infantry in Europe.
Well, when he first came home, he was a very sick man. He used to, if he'd hear a noise or of any kind, he would run. He would just run. I mean, from being in the war all those years,
Someday
it was like,
I got a
you know,
picture of the
because
first
his
racing
sister,
team.
I wasn't married yet
The
to him
first
at that
ambulance
time.
racing team.
But at that
Big
time,
picture.
his sister
And
would
it
tell
was
me, and his mother
your
would tell me
name, your-
how anything, he would
I
get up
used
in
to
the
be
middle
a-
of the night and just
Myself,
run,
I used to
just
climb,
wanna run. He would just keep
and,
running and running. So
where
it
did you live in
wasn't
Bubbles on?
easy.
So when
Wait,
did
can
you?
I just go to the door?
Yes, of course.
First
I
thing-
think there's somebody